Well, ANC NEC member Bheki Cele has been campaigning in eThekwini as well. We understand visiting the area where Siyabonga Mkhize was shot dead. The ANC ward candidate was killed while busy electioneering. Now, there has been a spike of political killings ahead of the local government elections coming up on the 1st of November. My colleague, eNCA's Mawande Kheswa, has more on the story for us. Hello to you, Mawande. So we go from taxi violence, where the minister having to deal with that, to political killings and violence. How does the police minister, while he's campaigning as an ANC member, suggest he's going to get on top of this?
Good day, Gareth. Well, he is juggling quite a bit at this point in time. We understand that his visit started off in Cleveland's hostel in Umlazi and then proceeded to M section in Umlazi as well, Ward 83, where he spoke to the community there. The common theme or the common thread in this is that in every community that he visits, he has a community engagement where the community is given a chance to air out their concerns to both the minister as well as the councillor candidate in that area. From there, he then addresses those issues. One of the things that has stood out in all of these pit stops that he has taken is crime. Now, as you've said, he is an NEC member and he's also the police minister. So when it comes to the issues of crime, they are addressing these issues to the right person. Speaking of issues around the resources that police have at their disposal, issues around concerns of police allegedly dragging their feet and not doing the jobs that they need to do. The minister has said that he visited, for an example, Nyanga police station in Cape Town, where they have 44 vans, but he found that 24 were in the garage, and those are things that he needs to look into as to why is it that of the allocated number of resources such as police vans, there's only a small number. In Umlazi, residents said that Umlazi has about 1.2 million people living there, but there's only 2 police stations at a time, sometimes have less than 4 vans between them operating. That is not adequate and sufficient to service that kind of area. So the minister has said that for him is to go back and look at all the resources that are allocated for police stations and then use a magnifying glass to see where have the resources gone, because at times it's not that there's an absence. The resources are there, however, they may be mismanaged. One of the other aspects that the minister touched on is that he needs to go back to Umlazi to hold an imbizo, to come up with solutions of how to deal with the criminal activities that are plaguing the communities. Communities say gunshots are something that is a common theme. Cases of rape not being resolved. There's a number of issues, and when you look at the national crime stats for murder and rape, Umlazi as well as Inanda they interchange one another in terms of that first and second spot. So it is an area that he needs to look into.
So as far as the community engagements go, it's one thing to hear from the police minister in his capacity there. The other, of course, as you say, an NEC member. But what are the community wanting him to actually do? I imagine there's a lot of anger, a lot of fear when they get a chance to engage with him and also the local councillor candidate.
Well, they're quite free and open when they do these addresses. There's no fear whatsoever. The fear that they have is going back to the communities in which they live in. But in terms of airing out their concerns, they were quite open and forthcoming. The main thing, as I've stated, is the issue around criminal activity, and also the fact that they say, although in times they are able to point out drug dens to police, they don't do much, going as far as alleging that police at times are beneficiaries of criminal activities, and therefore it is quite impossible for them to intervene and resolve the issues that they have. But the thing that stood out is the resources that they have at their disposal. The minister has said that at times it is not a case of police not wanting to work. At times they do get stretched, but it is something that he has to look into. If we look across the board in terms of the various departments, budget cuts have been a common thread, a common theme, with one of the departments that has suffered the most being the educational sector. and the police as well have been suffering these. So it begs to be seen as to how are these things going to be fulfilled. You look at the number of recruits that were supposed to come in and is unable to since the COVID pandemic, or rather as of last year moving into this year. So with those recruits not coming in, how do you then ensure that the number of police officers increases? Because you can't have a situation in Unumlazo, for an example, where one police van has to service over 120,000 people, and the number of vans that you have at any given time may be less than 5. So those are things that the minister has said he needs to go to the drawing table, look into. Hence, he says that he's going to return in about 4 weeks' time to hold an imbizo to try and come up with solutions engaging with the communities.
All right, Mawande Kheswa for the moment then for us in the area of eThekwini, covering what the police minister is saying, and also in his role as an NEC member for the ANC. Political killings, taxi killings, there's a lot for Bheki Cele to have to try and deal with at the moment. My thanks to Mawande Kheswa. Back with him, I'm sure, again later in the day.